Must be Wednesday because we're getting 2 streams. First me and Ted, now me and Raj. Welcome to our inaugural episode of our 49er Takes, a mix of 49ers first takes and RS of 49ers. Hope you like it. Wanted to make it look cool. Our guy Roscoe came through in the clutch as usual. So I want to say thank you to him. Before we get into anything, I want to ask Raj, who got some package from a secret admirer as the stream was about to start. Some sweet ass jerseys. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Right before we started,
I heard the doorbell.
Yeah, doorbell.
I thought you ordered pizza or something. I'm like, what happened?
Yeah, I was like, I didn't order anything. What's going on? And then I get this package in the mail, and we get a Brandon Ayuk. This is crazy. Look at this Brandon Ayuk jersey, and it's got a signature. Brandon Ayuk signed jersey. Crazy. And then we get this crazy Debo. Look at this thing. This is crazy signature with this like dope like design. This Debo design. It's not just Debo. It's got like this like cool design. It's
very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Whoever sent them to me, I think one of my followers said he was sending for me like a while long back, but it's like overseas. So whoever sent me these,
you said jerseys, it was from like Deutschland.
Yeah,
I thought maybe it was one of the guys jerseys from the guys from UK 49ers. They do that stream. I forget their name. I gotta give them a shout out. But they're like UK 49er fans, and they do. I was like, maybe one of them guys sent it to you because they love you. But what's going on, Raj?
I mean, I'm feeling good. I got new jerseys. So whoever sent me those, appreciate you. But yeah, I'm doing good midweek, man. Been just busy as always, working and doing my thing. And I like the new layout. I like our 49ers takes. I love the name of the show, first off.
I went on Twitter and was like, I need a name. And somebody was like, send nudes, please. I'm like, no, Ryan. Name.
That you got a little feisty because nobody was responding at first. And then I was like, uh-oh.
I was like, y'all suck, man. Like, really? I can't get like one of you to respond? Like, geez, dude. Do I have to be verified to get responded? Like, what do I got to do here? What the hell?
You ask and people don't. It's weird. Like, and then sometimes though, the way that the algorithm pushes it out, it doesn't like get there first, and then like later when they go through their Twitterverse, they'll let me comment. So I did see some comments, but I like this name. I like the name, and I love the layout. I love the new fresh look.
Our guy Roscoe always comes through in the clutch. If you guys need any kind of this kind of stuff, and you have a channel. Go hit up Roscoe's Black Solutions on Twitter. He is the man.
I gotta hit him up, so I gotta change all my stuff for the coming up.
Yeah, dude. Well, I can share these with you because we're both doing a show, so I'll send them to you in an email after the show.
Perfect.
So okay, it wouldn't be a 49ers offseason without quarterback drama.
Put the hoodie up for the drama.
Yeah, I should put mine up too. Although I look like a homeless, I look like a bad lady when I put mine up. So I look like Ayuk, but only poorer and whiter. So I'm trying to formulate thoughts here because it's like every year this is something. So we thought when we moved on from Jimmy G, we would move away from drama, but no, not quite. As everybody knows, he had his surgery. He starts throwing in 3 months. Kyle and John were both at the league meetings. They both responded kind of completely differently. I don't know if they're on the same page or not. But essentially, Kyle saying, like, we'll see in 3 months once he starts to throw where he's going to be. And John Lynch essentially said he could be ready for the start of the season. And, but right now it's Trey's team. Trey has to learn to stay healthy, yada, yada, yada. So pretty much we're no better than we were last year with the Jimmy Garoppolo situation coming into the season. We just have two really cheap. It's just a cheap version of the same situation. So I guess my take or my question to you would be, what do you make of, first of all, John and Kyle kind of almost being a little bit on the different wavelength? Or are they? They just wording it different because Kyle comes off really negative, whereas John is always Mr. like spin. And what do you think of Trey Lance? Do you think Trey Lance really has to show out in order to keep the starting job and keep it even through a returning Brock Purdy?
Yeah, no, those are all good questions. That's pretty much the big takeaways. What are the answers to those? So first and foremost, I don't think John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan had different views. I know a lot of people are like, oh, they're not on the same page. John Lynch is the GM. His job is to make things sound great and sell the team and sell players and give you a positive outlook on the team of why are the 49ers going to win. And John Lynch did that to me. I think he kept it optimistic. And he says, we hope that Brock Purdy's back by the start of the season. We all do. Because they said, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, both of them pretty much said that it's Brock Purdy's job to lose. If he's healthy, he's a starting quarterback. The problem is he's not healthy. And one thing that they both said was, what Kyle specifically said, he says, if Brock Purdy was healthy, this would be an easy decision. We wouldn't be in this turmoil that you're saying, right? That, the whole quarterback drama. If there was no injury, if Brock Purdy didn't get hurt in the NFC Championship game, there would be no controversy. But unfortunately, he did get hurt, and that's why we're at this point. And to me, Kyle was more just realistic. And it's something that I said last week. I said, you never know with an injury because injuries heal different for different people. We talked about your injury. Remember we were talking about the surgery? I said everybody heals at a different capacity. And some people can heal fast. Some people heal slow. He did have to wait a little bit longer for the swelling to go down. So that right there tells you things heal at a different rate for anybody. He's 23. He should be able to heal fast. But you don't know exactly 100% how he's going to heal at the beginning of the season. So they will see how he looks at 3 months, right? In 3 months, he should start throwing. That's according to reports and, biological facts of his body healing. So he should be ready to throw in 3 months. And then after that, can he ramp up enough to get to the start of the season in 6 months? We'll see. But I don't think they were on that opposite page. I think they just said it a little differently. And I think Kyle hopes that he's ready for the season. And I think that's their whole argument is we hope he's ready for the start of the season, but we don't know. And that's what Kyle basically says. I don't know. I can't tell you if he's going to be alive on Sunday, right? He said that before, and he kind of the same vibe I got from that. I was like, oh, okay. It's not really news to me. But the big news was, I don't know if a lot of people should be surprised, but some people were, that Brock Purdy, he's the starter, basically. It's his job to lose. And Kittle said this weeks ago. Nick Bosa said this weeks ago. Like, they all have said this. The team has rallied around Brock. Now you switch your mind to Trey Lance. Okay, you have Trey Lance. And what does that mean for him? Well, he's coming off an injury as well. And unfortunately for him, he didn't get to showcase himself. It was supposed to have his showcase season last year, and it got derailed. And he couldn't play games. And now he's got to prove himself. And what Brock Purdy did was he got an advantage. He got an opportunity last year because of the injuries. And, he took so much advantage of that opportunity. He won 8 games. He took him to the NFC Championship. So based on that, he's your starter. And he should be. I agree with it. But Trey Lance, now he has to prove himself. He has to earn it. He has to go out there and compete with Sam Darnold. I know that ruffled a lot of feathers for some people because it's Sam Darnold. But he should compete with Sam Darnold. If he can't beat Sam Darnold, he shouldn't be the starter of this team. And I think he will. I think he will.
That was just what I was about to say.
Yeah, I think he will. If he's so good and if he's your guy, then he'll put him out there. So I think Kyle planned this. You get a guy like Sam who, as he said, never was in a real great situation. He's kind of been in these bad teams, and he has some potential. He has some talent. He's flashed here and there. Is he great? The jury's still out. He's 25 years old. I mean, obviously he's a bust if you think about it in terms of draft. The position, he was the number 3 pick. So he hasn't lived up to the hype, but he has some talent. Kyle knows he can make this guy maybe better than he ever has with Brian Griese at quarterback, all the weapons they have. So Sam Darnold will get first team reps. And I think he should. I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, why not just give Trey Lance all the first team reps? That's disrespectful. No, because last year what happened? All 3 quarterbacks went down. If by some crazy, divine intervention happens again where all the quarterbacks get, let's say Brock Purdy gets hurt or he's not ready, Trey Lance get hurt. I hope he doesn't, but if he gets hurt, you're down to Sam Darnold. And if he hasn't played with the first team, he's going to be behind the 8 ball. So it makes sense. And again, if Trey Lance can't beat out Sam Darnold, then he shouldn't be a quarterback. But I think he will come in and work his ass off. And he said it himself last month that he knows he's behind Brock. Brock was a baller. He doesn't want to take this job and be handed it. He wants to compete. So what did Kyle Shanahan do? He went and got Sam Darnold so he could compete with them. So I don't really think that it was too controversial. I know everybody's making it sound like they hate Trey Lance. No, he lost his job to Brock Purdy last year because Brock Purdy won 8 games. That's the bottom line.
Larry Krueger reiterated what I've been saying all along, which I actually stole from him about it's a meritocracy, man. It doesn't matter where you drafted. It matters if you produce. It doesn't matter if you're the 3rd pick in the NFL draft, if you're the last pick. If you produce on a high level in the National Football League, you will have a job. if you are a low ranking or a high ranking draft pick and you do not produce, eventually they have to pull the plug on you. It's business. Sometimes business, you have great investments that have a lot of return, and sometimes in business you have horrible investments that do not return. That's life.
Yeah.
Just like relationships with a woman or a man or whatever you are. Sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're a match made in heaven, and sometimes they're it's the worst possible situation ever. With me, it's the latter. It's always really bad. So the thing too with Trey is that, and we had this discussion on the NWO show on Monday, and then Ryan was really animated. It got pretty heated, but he made a good point. He's like, I don't understand how when we went into, and there he is, Ryan. He's like, we got this offense that's predicated on the run with Trey, right?
Mm-hmm.
And why can't Kyle take the strengths and the weaknesses of not Brock Purdy, of Trey Lance, and make an offense around him where he's almost like stubborn and he wants his offense run a certain way. Yet when they bring in Brock, they take away the run part of it, and essentially it's a different offense, and Brock Purdy runs it really well. Like, what is it Kyle Shanahan not wanting to bend to the will of Trey Lance and trying to like curtail this offense to him? Or is it more an indictment on Trey Lance that he just has some struggles that he just is it bad of Kyle to kind of say, this is how I run my offense and you have to do it this way? Or should a head coach who's supposedly a genius be able to kind of like shape his offense around the player that he has at quarterback? Like, how do you feel about that?
No, it's a good question. I think both, honestly. I think both are true. And I think they both can be true. So, yeah, Trey Lance, still a little undeveloped, right? That's what they knew, he was going to be a raw guy. And, going back to when they took him, right? They traded up a lot to get him. He didn't have a lot of experience coming out, but he showed some great potential. And I was on the boat that year. Start the man. I don't care. Start him.
Me too.
If you take some lumps, this is going to be your developmental year. You went and drafted him, go get him developed. I think they could have won games. Maybe they made it. Maybe they don't make it to the NFC Championship like they did that year, but they fucking lost. So it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. I should have developed them, but they didn't. I get it. And then the year 2, he was supposed to come out and finally get that chance. And he got hurt. So I just think that part of it is, Trey really hasn't had the opportunity to come out and like just showcase himself for whatever reason. And then maybe we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Maybe he didn't grasp things, and Kyle wanted to, show him like, hey, this is the way it's got to run and stuff like that. And he has to kind of show that to him, that he can do that, for Kyle. Like, hey, Kyle, I know how to run this out. I can do this. I can do these things. Because Kyle's very meticulous, and Kyle likes to control things. I think that's one thing I talked about this with Dwayne earlier, and I mentioned this to Larry this week. I said Kyle loves to control things, and I feel like that was part of it. Is okay, we got
this
Ryan
young said.
Yeah, yep. One of these young quarterbacks, you have to make sure that I'm still the play caller. I'm the shot caller. I don't have an offensive coordinator. I'm the offensive coordinator. I'm your head coach. I'm your OC. I'm calling the play. So, and the thing with Brock is, I think the reason why he was able to kind of maybe have a little bit more freedom, he was winning games. He proved it. And when he escaped out of the pocket and he did some of those things, you're like, this is a rookie. But that's the thing they said this week too, that, they knew he had some mobility. They knew he had some talent, but he was better than they had saw on film. Like in person, it was like, whoa. And everything he did in the game was what he showed on film. But it was like, when you see it in person, you're like, holy crap, this guy's a rookie doing this. So I feel like Brock, again, he took advantage of his opportunity. He came in, nobody expected anything. Nobody had any expectations of Brock Purdy. I don't think anybody at that point were like, because I remember that night when Jimmy goes down and we win, I was there. I was like, what did we just watch? I was like, this guy Brock, what do we have in him? But I remember a lot of Niner fans were like, it's over, season's over, go sign somebody. They were like throwing names out. Go get Baker, go get this guy. They were like adamant. It's over, season's over. And I was like, wait just a damn minute. I don't know. We ended up winning that game in Miami, against a team that was really hot. And I was like, this offense looked pretty good. The kid looked pretty good. He looked pretty good, right? And I was like, I don't know. Maybe you see what he has for a few more games. And they did. They kept on seeing it. And again, he showed leadership. He showed poise. But he had 4 years of experience in college. And I think that's the difference. Is he's had that ability in college. And I think it just really peaked last year for the 49ers. And it was one of those things where it was perfect storm, good timing. The Niners saw this guy. They're like, holy crap, he can win games. And he's on a rookie contract, a 7th-round pick, the last pick. His contract's pennies. It doesn't even have a cap hit right now. So I think that's the other fact of this situation. And the 49ers hit it this week with Jed York and Lynch and Shanahan. They say, hey, look, ultimately we want to build this team around a guy that's a rookie quarterback that can win games, because we got to bring in Hargrave. We got to pay both. So we got to pay all these guys. And in order to do that, you need to take a cost somewhere. So if you can get a quarterback that can win games at a cheap price, I think that's it. So that's the reason I feel like, Brock is ahead and maybe gets a little bit more respect from Kyle and them, because I don't think they've shown that to Trey. They haven't really given him that stamp of approval. Like, oh, Trey's the guy. They were so hyped up on Brock this week. Like, they said so many nice things about Brock. I didn't really hear him say much about Trey other than he's progressing well. He has a chance to get the starting job. He's going to compete with Sam Darnold. And he looked, and then one thing Kyle said was, oh, last year he had the opportunity. He was going to be there. We think he could have won games, but he got hurt. So they didn't really gas him up.
To me, the whole thing with Trey Lance is, or with the whole thing with Brock Purdy is, Brock Purdy performed on a big stage and he played well.
Yeah.
He didn't just kind of get by the skin of his teeth. He played fantastic in the postseason, and he should have he should have gone into this season being the guy.
Of course.
Why? That's not fair to him not to be, especially when you perform the way you did down the stretch on a team where we were losing and we needed to win, and we won a lot of games. Started with Jimmy and then it ended with him, and then we get into the playoffs, and Jimmy for the most part in the playoffs was absolute dog water, and this kid comes in 7th-round pick, last pick in the draft, tiny guy, little arm, and he's part of the reason he didn't get carried along like the guys before him. So he should have came into this season, but it sucks because the kid hasn't really gotten an opportunity, Trey Lance, to really see what he can do. And now he's going to get that chance in training camp. He's going to get that chance in OTAs. Dan Orlowski said it best. He needs to live at the facility, man.
Yeah.
You have to live at this facility this year. No ifs, ands, or buts. And it's going to suck because if he can't beat out Sam Darnold, man, do you cut your losses and try to trade him before the season? Or because if he plays and he plays bad, all value is gone. Or at least I think it is, partially, maybe.
Yeah, partially. His value takes a dip. But again, you expect him to beat Sam. But yeah, if Sam beats him, then that tells
sucks.
you well, it sucks. But also, I think people are, because there's a lot of people out there, oh, Sam Darnold's shitty, terrible. He's not going to come in laying over. He wants an opportunity to prove himself too, because he's kind of similar to Trey Lance. He was a number 3 pick. A lot of pressure on him. He's a young guy. He's 25 years old still. He's still young. He just never was in a good position. So I think it's going to make them both really rise to the top. And then if Sam Darnold looked good, but Trey Lance beats him, then you could trade him and get some value. But yeah, it is a tough situation to be in for Trey Lance. I feel bad for him because he did, he really lost his job because of an injury. But the guy that took his job, man, it's hard to argue that he doesn't deserve it. And I agree with you. He should be the starter based on what he did last year. Obviously, they said it. I agree with it. But it is a tough kind of break, no pun intended, for Trey Lance, there. But he's coming off a big injury too, so it's not like he's expected to come in and just dominate. He has to prove himself that he's okay after the injury. So beating Sam Darnold isn't an easy task, and I know people are going to laugh like Sam Darnold. Trey Lance is also coming off a major injury like Brock Purdy, so he really has to come in, and I agree with Orlowski, is he does have to live in the facility. He has to go in there and crush this, and not only beat Sam Darnold, but prove that he's effective after the injury, because we don't know his mobility is going to be the same mentally. We don't know if he's going to be able to throw on the run, and all those he's got to be able to plant and throw. There's a lot of stuff that Trey still has to be able to do. And can he learn the offense? Can he, guide this team? Can he, be the leader? I think they want to
do the easy stuff, the layup throws, the screens, just the stuff that you don't even think about. We know he can make the
sexy pass. We know he can make that sexy pass. But the other thing he has to do, because if Brock Purdy isn't back to start the season and you need a starter, and let's say Trey looks great and he comes in and he's starting week 1, okay, and he's starting week 2 and he's starting week 3 and the 4 weeks. Let's say he gets those first 4 games. He has to win games. And if the defense carries him and he looks bad, that looks bad. That's bad. But if the defense shits the bed and they still lose games, you have to assess him on the person on the isolate him. How did Trey do? Did he ball out? Did he go crazy? Did he look good? Oh, but the defense was bad, but Trey looked good. Or did they win games and Trey just looked like a stud? So he has to go out there and prove he can win games, because I think that's what the 49ers want, is to win games, because they do have this team with a really great roster, but you don't know how many years all these guys are going to stick around together.
Yeah.
How long is this window with all these players going to be around? Kittle's 30. Debo's got 2 more years on his contract. Well, 1 more after this year. Brandon Ayuk, they said they're picking up the 5th-year option, and next year they have to figure out if they're going to pay him. You got Fred Warner, he's going through his contract. Nick Bosa, you got to pay this year. So a lot of Trent Williams, he may not be back next year. I don't know. So this window with these players is going to change. It's going to close. I'm not saying that their Super Bowl window is going to close, because they're always,
I think they'll always have a competitive roster. I just don't think the defense might not be as elite as it once was.
Yeah.
But if Jesse Naylor put something up on Twitter that he made a point about, like a lot of the last Super Bowl winners, they were more of an offensive team than defensive teams that have been winning the Super Bowl. So this whole notion that defense wins championships, not really the case anymore. It does help, but the offenses have got to be pretty good. The Super Bowl we watched was a fast break Super Bowl. It was Warriors versus, I don't know, another team that doesn't play any defense.
It was like the 80s Lakers, man. Like
versus the Warriors right now.
Yeah.
No defense. It was just like layup after funky pass.
Yeah.
It just like, wow, can anybody get one stop? Nope.
No.
The only way that the Eagles stopped themselves was when the turnovers that happened in that Super Bowl.
That's it. That was what it was going to come down to. It was like, honestly, it's like arena football. There's no defense. I watched arena football this week. Actually, I work for the
I saw you. I clicked on your live and you were like, yo, let's go. I'm like, where? Oh, it's arena ball.
So I do. I'm part of their media team now. It's crazy. So the indoor Bay Area Panthers. And man, I don't know if you ever watch indoor football. There's literally no defense. The reason the Panthers won that game was because of a defensive play. The one defensive play, they won the game because of it. Oh my God. But yeah, that's it. It's the league's evolving. You need to make sure you can score some damn points. And what did the 49ers do last year with their offense? It really improved. Obviously, CMC was a big part of that. But when Brock Purdy came in, this offense was humming, man. And Trey's got to show that he can do that too. And again, it may be a lot of pressure on him, but he's been in the league 3 years. I'm sure he's hungry. It is tough. And then there's the crowd that says, okay, are they going to trade Trey Lance? They didn't really shoot it down. But, I think 3 quarterbacks, that's $13 million on the quarterback position is very cheap. So maybe they want to just really make sure. They told us they want to make sure they insulate the position because they don't want to be in that spot next year. But you never know. I could see in a couple months maybe that they say, hey, look, we got these 2 guys. We don't need one of them. Maybe we trade one. Or in the draft. You never know. People are going to
I wouldn't put it past them to do something in the draft that would shake up the freaking franchise. But if you can essentially get picks back and then maybe move up and get an elite level player either this year or in the coming years,
it's tough because
I don't want to think about it, but that's part of it. That's part of this whole thing. Yeah. It's a business in the end.
It is. Like, what if they get a guy that's a starting quality player, like a star player,
like a right tackle that could essentially become a left tackle,
or an edge rusher,
or we get an edge rusher that is straight up like balls to the wall, like you put him across from Bosa and we get like 80 sacks next year.
100%. Like a guy that can get double-digit sack on his first year with Bosa on the other side. Bosa gets 20. This guy gets 10. It's 30 sacks between 2 guys.
Javon Hargrave gets 15.
And everybody else
gets 10. Yeah, whatever, whatever.
And I hate to say it, but if that's what wins you Super Bowl, everybody will not even they will not blink an eye that they traded those 3 first.
Some people will, though. I think some people will stand firm on, I'd rather lose a Super Bowl than screw Trey Lance over. It's just like,
and you're not screwing Trey because at the end of the day, this young man deserves an opportunity to
He's
play
still
football.
Young. He's only 22.
And if they're not going to let him play the Niners, I want to see him play somewhere. He's young. He has an opportunity in this league, whether it's with the Niners or another team. I want to see him get it. But I do think they'll hold on to him because they do like the cheap quarterback room. And again, Brock Purdy's injury, there's an uncertainty of when he's coming back. They hope he's coming back by week 1, but they don't know.
I have a feeling just based on the injuries of all of them, that I don't think there's going to be a move on a quarterback trading in the draft. I think that there's no way they could be that like, yeah, well, we'll take our chances with Brock. Like, dude, like, no, that's the only thing that's stopping me from thinking Trey Lance could be traded in the draft. Could he be traded before the season starts for the following draft? If something was to happen, possibly.
Absolutely.
Do I want him to be? No. I want him to be here. I wanted him to be the guy, just like everybody else wanted him to be the guy. So,
but unfortunately, right now he's not the guy.
He's not the guy.
But it depends on how he looks this offseason. Because again, if he comes in, knocks it out of the park, and let's say Brock misses the first 4 games, and let's say they're 4-0 and Trey Lance is humming, and you're like, oh wow, okay, Trey looks like the guy we all thought he was going to be. Then you can't pull him. At that point, he's earned it. You can't pull him at that point. So then you have Brock Purdy.
If he's so and they're like 2-2 and he's playing kind of do you think they make a switch to Brock Purdy?
I think you got to I think they would if Brock Purdy's ready to roll. I think if they're like and he's not playing too good, but I don't think they should. I think you should give him at least until the bye week. You got to ride it out at least until the bye. You got to give them a fair assessment.
This team has to start fast, though, man.
Yeah, I know.
They got to get that number 1 seed this year. They really do. It would really help them, especially a guy like Nick Bosa, who gives everything every game, all game, and he looks like he ran like a 5K marathon, like back to back.
Tired, man.
Yeah, like he dude, that pass rush did diddly poop without him.
That
man tried his ass. Yeah, he always looks. I told my brother's like, he always looks super unmotivated. I'm like, yeah, because he's tired carrying that freaking that defensive line. Nobody did anything last year. I have a lot of people that attacked me during the playoffs saying, what are you talking about? Niners defense is the best. I said, they are. The defensive line isn't. I disagree. It's not about sacks. Oh, it's about sacks.
Yeah,
it's more about pressures. Well, we didn't have a ton of those either.
We didn't do anything.
Like, we don't have either. So what do you mean? Like, I got friggin' put over the coals for that one. I'm like,
they fell apart at the end. Like, it's okay to say it. They fell apart. They were the best defense in the regular season, but the playoffs aren't played in the regular season. That's the thing. A lot of these teams do great in the regular season. Like Aaron Rodgers, he's one of the best regular season quarterbacks. Playoff comes.
So was Dan Marino.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
Dan Marino was horrible in the postseason.
Terrible. That's
Jim Kelly in Super Bowls. Jim Kelly was one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen.
Why they never won 4? They went to 4 straight Super Bowls.
He was a straight up choke artist in Super Bowls. Like, he was the reason they sucked.
I know.
Throwing picks left and right.
He was this dog. I remember sitting there as a kid going, just gotta be. I remember Super Bowl. We sit there. We go with my cousins. We'd be hyped up because they were Cowboys fans, and I was. I hated the Cowboys. I hated the Cowboys.
They were so good, though. You got to admit.
And I just rooted against. So I was like, I was like, go Bills. I was rooting for the Bills to be, and they just laughed at me and my dad. They're like, you guys fucking stupid. You picked the. I was just like, Jim Kelly. Every year. I was like, I cannot believe.
Right. And then supposedly he got hurt, and then Frank Reich came in. No, he I think it's. What's freaking dried up, and he was like, I'm done for the game. Same thing with Thurman the following year. Mr. I can't find my helmet. Oh no, was that against no. Who lost their helmet against the Redskins? That was Andre Reed, right?
Yeah, it's Reed. Oh my god.
And then versus the Cowboys, Thurman Thomas had like poopy pants or something.
Yeah,
he had like
something happened.
He had like bubble guts or something. I'm like,
I can't play, bro.
Are you kidding me?
Ridiculous, man.
Yeah. So I feel bad for Bills fans, and they get so hyped every year. And it's so.
Can you imagine if social media existed back then? Oh my god.
Fire Marv Levy. He's one of the greatest coaches of all time. The
memes would have been amazing.
Remember, there was a picture or an artist rendering of like a guy taking a piss in a stall, and it was like freaking Norwood, and it was like you see the stream going like left or right of the latrine. I'm like, wow, that's really funny. Messed up, but also really funny.
That is hilarious. Absolutely.
Let's talk a little bit of 49ers. They boasted their offensive line again. His name is escaping me. I don't know why right now.
Matt Pryor.
Another offensive. Looks like another Daniel Brunskill, pretty much, right? Another.
He's like a Swiss Army knife.
Another
type
Swiss
guy.
Army knife guy. Every time I see these moves, I keep thinking the Niners are just bolstering depth because they want to do something in the draft. Like somebody's going to make a move, right?
Yeah. They're putting him in that position.
They saying McKivitz is starting. They asked John Lynch. He's so bullish on him. I don't know. Did I say McKivitz? Yes, McKivitz.
Yeah.
John Lynch is really bullish on him starting, and I'm like, why, dude? He sucks. He's not that good. But what's your take? You think that? Do you really believe McKivitz is going to be the guy?
I don't know, man. I've been one of those guys that I'm not sold on McKivitz. He's the wild card to me. But the way I see it is, okay, the 49ers have done this for a lot of these positions, especially the O-line over the last couple of years. You had Aaron Banks. I sat here right here saying exactly what you said. Like, oh my God, I don't know about Aaron Banks. He made everybody eat crow. And then you had Jake Brendel last year. It was like, oh my God, Mac retired. What are we gonna do? They got this guy Jake Brendel, and I remember sitting here going, Jake Brendel's gonna be a starter, and he wasn't bad. And then Spencer Burford, rookie, unknown, and yeah, I don't know. I think that at this point, you just got to trust their eye of talent. They know how to develop these players, and I think McKivitz might be okay. I think we're going to be okay there. Now, is he like an elite talent? No, obviously not. But again, their track record with fifth-round picks has been pretty good. He is a fifth-round pick. He's going to be motivated to get more money. Obviously, you saw what McGlinchey got, $87.5 million. If McKivitz can turn 2 years into dominating, blocking and take over McGlinchey, he's going to get paid a lot of money in 2 years. So I feel like there is an opportunity for him to hit, but he is, to me, the biggest wild card on this offense. Now, I know they brought in these guys, like we talked about, Matt Pryor, John Feliciano. They're going to be depth guys that come in to compete. I think Feliciano could steal a spot. He was a starter. But the Matt Pryor guy, to me, going to be your swing tackle most likely, and he's going to compete with Jalen Moore, who to me,
where would you see Feliciano stealing a spot? Center?
I could see him steal a guard spot, man. It's
from
weird.
Burford?
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're going to try to push Burford.
Because I think Banks is pretty much solid as a rock.
Yeah, and I think Burford's solid there too. But this guy might compete and push him a little bit. And if anything, it just makes Burford stronger. So, and then we have really good depth, and he can be that plug and play guy like Brunskill. So it's tough. I don't know if McKivitz can be the guy elite guy at tackle, but I mean, if you're asking the 49ers fan base, all of them told you get rid of Mike McGlinchey, so they did. So we better hope and pray that this guy's better than McGlinchey, because then we're all gonna look stupid, right? So I hope he's better than McGlinchey. But I don't know, man.
I look at the draft and I say, okay, if the Niners were to make one more move post free agency, and they sign an edge guy, say someone, I don't know, Floyd, Houston, 1-year deal, you're right. They're going right tackle. They're trading up to go get a right tackle. With them not doing that, I'm so freaking confused mentally. You have to try to trade up in this draft, dude.
Yeah, that's to me, and
you can't just sit there in the third round and wait.
You can't wait, because I don't know if there's a third round right tackle that's good enough to start over Colton McKivitz on day one. That's the issue. And if you're going to trade up,
you don't think there's a day one right tackle to
I think there's a day one right tackle, but not a round 3. What I'm saying is if they
okay. I thought you were saying in first round. I was like, Jesus. Okay, maybe we don't trade up.
If they go get a round 3 right tackle, Colton McKivitz is still your starter. So that's why I think if they're going to make a trade, it's going to be to get a right tackle or an edge on the other side of Bosa. So it is interesting. I feel like they are lining themselves up for a trade. You have 11 draft picks. I don't think you could trade. I don't think you can make. I don't think they're going to take 11 players in this draft. I really don't. I mean, maybe they will, but
I think they're taking 5. I think they're taking 5 players in this draft, 5 to 6.
Wow, 5 to 6. I can see them move around.
Yeah, I feel like right tackle, edge rusher, tight end, safety, and
corner, kicker.
Okay, I'm wrong. Never mind. Don't pay any attention to me. I just forgot that because you saw. I'm gonna jump around for a sec. They asked him about Zane Gonzalez, and he didn't say we signed the kicker.
Yeah,
he said we signed a kicker.
A kicker.
Which sounds like a placeholder just in case Jake Moody isn't the guy. I know everybody knows Raj is there's a fan club of one, and Raj is the leader of the Moody fan club. He wants Jake Moody.
Calling up Jake. Yeah, we're going to talk about you right now on the show. We're talking Jake Moody, ladies and gentlemen. Jake Moody could still come to the Niners because you're absolutely right, Aaron. He didn't say they got the kicker.
They got a kicker.
That means there's a competition brewing at kicker.
There better not be that they're going to bring back freaking Robbie Gould, because I will freaking throw up in my mouth.
You know, a lot of people have hinted towards that.
Are they going to have two place kickers?
Hey.
You do field goals. You do kickoffs.
Yeah. Can you imagine, Robbie, you can't take field goal. You can't do kickoffs. So this guy's going to do kickoffs for you. Save your leg. You
Stop
can't
tackling people on kickoffs all the time. We'll leave that for Zane Gonzalez, who's injury prone.
And then, Robbie, you're going to come in and kick these chip shots, you know? Oh, we got a 50-yard field goal. Zane, come in here. Can you imagine?
That'd be weird. But not kickers? Against the 49ers. I would not hold that against them to do something where the fan base would be like, we don't need another kicker.
Dual kickers, man.
Yeah, don't the 5-6 players forget that, because I totally forgot kicker, and I totally forgot, like, I don't know who said it on Twitter. They made a comment about the Niners are missing, the one thing the Niners are missing on offense is that breakaway running back, the speed back. Would you go and get a running back later in the draft? Just a guy who does like a one trick.
If I'm Kyle, just give me an undrafted. I don't like Kyle's track record with drafting these running backs.
I don't either. Like, look at Ty Davis Price. Bet you $1 million Ty Davis Price gets cut this coming preseason.
Oh man, I talked to his trainer today. I don't know if you saw a video I posted on my story. So
no,
that's why sometimes I post these workout videos, because it's not just
to like put them out there.
It's not just to show the players are working out. Obviously, working out, and it's content. It's free content that people want to see, because sometimes there's nothing to post, and you're like, oh, here's a workout video. Post it. It's whatever. But the people that are taking those videos, the videographers, the photographers that are posting that content, the trainers, they love when you repost it, and they're like, oh wow, look at this big page, post my stuff up. It gets them some eyes on them. And then other players will see that video on Instagram, like, oh, look at this trainer. Maybe I should work with him. He's worked with, I don't know, X player, and he did really good last year, you know? So it's good. And then they DM me and they're like, hey, I got this content. You want to post it? Yeah, sure. And then they give me content. And then down the line, if we build a relationship, hey, guess what Debo said to me? Oh, what did Debo say? That's how you build per source. That's how you get sources, you know? Like, you hear it through a grid, like, oh yeah, Debo was telling me about his contract last week that he wants to, and that's why you post that stuff. But anyways, I saw TDP working. He looks really explosive. His trainer was telling me, like, super, hungry, and I think this could be a good year. Obviously, his trainer's going to say that, but I think TDP might stick around this year. I don't think he's going to be like Trey Sermon. I feel like
Trey Sermon never seemed like a fit.
Yeah, he didn't. All. I feel like TDP has more of that, like, he has a little bit more hunger in him. I think Trey was just going through the motions. Trey Sermon didn't fit.
Kind of like Glenn Coffey.
Yeah, big time.
Something wrong. Didn't he leave to become a minister or something like that?
Yeah, I think he went to like the armed forces.
Listen, I'm not even pooping on that, guys, because I'm a religious guy. But that dude straight up got drafted. I don't even think, wasn't he the guy that they didn't? Who was it that they drafted who never wanted to really play? He quit on the team.
Oh, it was the kid from San Diego State. His name's escaping me. I know exactly what you're talking. He told him straight up, don't draft me. I'm not playing. And they drafted him, and he says, I'm not playing. Oh, God, what was his name? Maybe somebody in the chat will drop his name.
Come on, Bashar. You're the guy. You've been around a long time.
You said Coffee went to the military. That's what I said.
Who was the guy that they drafted that ended up quitting football, and he quit in college? And the Niners drafted him anyways,
I know he went
like
to San Diego State. I know he went to San Diego State.
Raj was an SDSU guy.
It was the SDSU guy, and I cannot think of his name.
He's stumbling me with. Well, while you okay, I was going to say while we figure that out.
Keep going.
Let's go with the 49ers. Look all but a lock to pick up the 5th-year option for Deebo Samuel.
You mean Brandon Ayuk?
Oh, Brandon Ayuk show. I think who calls him the Ayuk show? I think that's Jay in the Bay. who I haven't seen in ages. I got to get him on the channel. I think that's a great move. To me, Brandon Ayuk is the truest number one we have on this team. I mean, I love Debo to death, but Debo is not a number one receiver. He's a number one playmaker. But to me, I think Ayuk is a must re-sign. I don't think the 49ers can have enough talent, but I think he's different than what we got. We got a lot of like guys that can run the 11 personnel. Ayuk's not really that guy. Ayuk is more of a true wide receiver. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ayuk with a guy with an arm would be a different level. Maybe not a Justin Jefferson, but pretty damn good. He's been hampered by quarterbacks that can't throw more than 10 yards, unfortunately. So I think him hopefully getting a fifth year and then a contract extension will be important for the 49ers, and I think it would be a good move by them. And I really want him because he's one of my favorite players.
Yeah, he's a dog, man. I love Brandon Ayuk. Absolute dog. You're right. He's a different receiver than most guys on this team. They're usually that yak bros. He can do the yak if you want. We saw in his rookie season, they used him as that, jet sweep guy. They used him in all types of fashions. But he has really improved on not only his strength, you can see he's like bulked up, but his route tree is unbelievable. He can run the route tree like nobody's business. You see the videos that people post, he's just like routing up the DB, and they're like, where'd he go? He's already in the end zone. The guy's phenomenal. BA's a young leader. Fourth
right. He
option.
came on last year. He became a somewhat vocal leader. He's still really quiet, but like he changed, man. Like
he's
I
really
love that
becoming
about
a
him.
guy. Beast, man. Yeah, he's really becoming. He's coming into his own self, and you could see now he's like getting the vibe of what it really takes to be in the league. After 3 years, his first 1,000-yard season, and he even said on Twitter last week, he's like, "Look, I was the fourth option on a run-first team, and I got 1,000 yards. Watch
Get me
out,
the
baby.
ball all the time and watch
Give me
what
the
I
ball.
could become.
Watch
1,500,
exactly what I can do.
90 catches, 1,500 yards, 12 touchdowns.
So yeah, based off that, we know they're going to pick up his fifth-year option. So with that, he's going to play his ass off this year to go get money. Because guess what? He wants more money than the fifth-year option is going to get him. So go out there and put together a blistering season. And yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait for them to pick up his fifth-year option. But next year is going to make it a little crazy because then you're going to have Debo and Ayuk basically needing to get extended. And that'll be interesting to see if they can pay them both or will they pay them both. But to
me, it comes down to if the Niners go into next year's draft with a first-round pick, do the 49ers draft a wide receiver of the future in the first or second round and say goodbye to an IU or a Debo or somebody, because listen, you can't wait for guys to either be past their prime or, if a guy is not affordable, you have to always be thinking 3 steps ahead. I just, for some reason, see them drafting a wide receiver. Maybe probably not this draft because I feel like they'd be too.
I absolutely think they next year they'll be in the wide receiver market because you're right. They don't know if they're going to be able to pay both Ayuk and Debo, and even if they can, you still got to make sure you can get that future wide receiver because eventually Debo is not going to be there forever, and Ayuk or whatnot. Because receivers like to take shorter contracts. They don't like to take the bigger contracts because they want to maximize their dollars, So I could see them taking a wide receiver next year, 100%. I don't think they do it this year. If they get a wide receiver this year, it's just a guy they can develop, because I think
what about Jonathan Mingo? Everybody, Bashar wants Jonathan Mingo.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind him. Again, I think they could take a receiver, but I really feel they're set this year because you do have Debo, you have Ayuk, you have Jennings.
Where would he play? That's the thing.
Problem.
If any offensive weapon I would like to see would be another tight end because I would like.
Yeah.
I hate that I'm going to say this to you guys, and I know you guys are going to take this the wrong way. I want the 49ers to start phasing out Kittle. Because Kittle is the type of player where, like, his prime could be the way he plays, it just doesn't lend itself to him being around a really long time. You know what I mean? I just feel like, when I mean phase out, I mean, like, I don't know, draft somebody who has the ability to catch, run routes and, he can throw the ball up and he can block too. I would love for them to draft a tight end this year because you just have to look to the future. You cannot live in this like, we'll wait for a guy to completely crap out and then we'll go replace him. No, you replace him before he's
before his time's up, because in 2 years when Kittle's probably phased out by then you already have a guy that's been there. He knows the system. He's ready to take that leap and become his prime self. So I agree. Tight end's important. Kittle, he's going to be 30, and he said it many times to people I know. He said it on many podcasts that at the end of the season, he feels like shit. Bottom line, he
looks like he
looks like he's in shambles, right? And he said it on the Theo Vaughn podcast a couple weeks ago. He goes, every week, every Sunday, he goes, it's like you're in the car wreck.
Yeah.
It's like 17 weeks of car wrecks. My friend that knows him, he told him that at the end of the season, he feels like his body's in shambles. Like, that's what he said. He goes, my body is in a complete mess. And then he goes to Vegas to just like kind of veg out and clear his mind. And then he goes on vacation with his, wife and everything. And I'm sure he's training still because he has to keep his body in shape. But you can just tell in the off season, he really likes to just zen out because he takes a beat down on himself. And I love
Trent Williams. Trent Williams, when he was talking about maybe retiring after this year. Can you blame him? Dude, it's like a car wreck out there every play. Listen, I'm 43 years old. I deal with chronic pain in my shoulder and in my knee and even in my back sometimes. I'm hurting all the time. I'm 43. That dude's 30 and he plays football. So, like, think about that.
Yeah,
think about that.
Think about
Speaking
that.
of the knee, I'm getting physical therapy. The knee's actually feeling a little bit better.
Okay.
However, I still have a little soreness around the incisions if I lean on my knee. So I don't know if that's normal or not.
Very normal. Keep icing it. Keep stretching it. The biggest thing, you got to keep building up that range of motion. Definitely ice it. And then I'm sure they gave you a wealth of exercises to keep working on.
Yeah, but this Friday I go and I get an assessment done. We're taking a little break, guys. I just want to let you guys know about my knee, whether you care or not.
They do.
I get an assessment on Friday. I'm looking maybe for about 4 to 5 weeks maybe, and then getting back, hopefully going back to work. Because I'm on my feet, the doctor said I'm treating you essentially as an athlete. Because if you had a desk job and you were sitting down, but because you're on your feet, we got to strengthen that knee, because my knee's been, at least up until a couple days ago, was like wobbly and it kept giving out all the time. And I'm like, God dang it, dude. Like, I can't even walk up the stairs. You got to build the
stability. You're right. Because if you don't have stability, you're not going to be able to stay on you. You're an athlete, baby. Aaron is an athlete.
I'm an athlete, guys. I'm sure all 280 pounds of dad bod, 100% athlete.
When he told you that, you're like, yeah, hell yeah, I'm an athlete.
I had a little bit of like,
what? You were like pumping. You were like, yes, sir.
And I had some Niners gear on. I was repping at the dock. I'm always repping. If you guys see me when I'm in public, always wearing 49ers stuff all the time.
Yeah, I'm usually in Niner gear. It's
I
funny.
have I got my faithful Little Bay jacket. I got I got the new draft lid coming. It looks
nice.
The white one. Whoo! Yeah. Yes, I got to get a collection wall and just put all my fitteds. I got to have like 20.
Got to do it.
20 fitteds.
And I always want to like make a wall of fun, but it's funny because when I'm at work and I'm not in Niner stuff, and then I go, if I ever do like live or like YouTube content or whatever, people are like, where's your Niner gear, Raj? I'm like, I'm actually at my job. I work. We wear Niner gear and stuff. It's funny. But then when people that know me and they know this, and then they see me in like non-Niner gear, they're just like, what's going on? I'm like, it's funny though. You got to stay repping.
It says a lot of us stay repping. That's awesome. Niners doing some rebolstering. Did I say rebolstering? That's not what I meant. Stadium upgrades. They're re-upgrading the stadium for possible World Cup and future Super Bowl. I thought it was going to be maybe some shade control, but I guess it's more or less going to be just luxury suites and a scoreboard or something like that.
Premium seats, luxury seating. Yeah, it's like the press box. Basically, for all the big wigs that are coming to watch the big events, make them have a cushy. They don't care what the fans want. We want shaded seats. They want better box seats and all that stuff and a pretty scoreboard, because they're
all about that cash money.
Yeah, because that's cash money. Because what does that mean? They can make the facility look nice so they can host the World Series or the World Cup, which is coming up. And Jed was raving about that. And then possibly a Super Bowl. So it's just trying to get more money for their stadium, which is fine. But it's nothing for the fans. It's not like shaded. When I first saw that, I was like, oh. And then I read the article. I was like, oh, I don't care. I don't care about your posh seats.
I thought it was the same thing. I thought it was going to be a little bit of something to do with the heat and the shade, but no, not doing that. I thought they were going to do something like they did in Miami.
I wish they did. Real quick, before we transition, I found out that running back that I got to get this out or it's going to bug me if I don't say it. So the running back that was drafted was Joe Williams.
Joe Williams.
Yeah,
yes.
Joe Williams. Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch. Yeah.
He didn't want to be here. They drafted him anyways.
I thought he's SDSU, but it was in the same conference because I went to UNLV. So I lump Utah and San Diego State, all those teams in the Mountain West because that's where I went to school.
There you
in the
go.
Mountain West Conference. So I just envisioned Mountain West school. But yeah, it's Joe Williams, running back, Utah. He said, "Don't draft me. I'm not playing." Kyle Shanahan said, "All right, fuck you. I'm drafting you." And he didn't play. He's like, "Look, I'm not playing. I'm retiring." That was horrible. That was the start of bad running back draft picks for Kyle Shanahan.
Kyle Shanahan just needs, when it comes to like certain parts of the draft, he needs to just hand over his running back card. I'll erase them all off the board.
And just go undrafted.
Just go undrafted running backs. We do better in that branch of the that part of the draft, the post draft. Anyways, let me see here. We got
what's up to
the chat? Jarrett, this has to do with the 49ers, but a lot of people don't know. Jeremy Renner, super fan, Hawkeye from Avengers. Remember, he got ran over by a tractor in the offseason?
Yeah.
Fan. He's on the men, guys. He's on a I saw a video of him. He's a personal trainer. He's on the treadmill. He's getting back to it. So I just want to give a shout out. He'll never see this stream. I was thinking about cutting this up maybe later and sending it to him. He won't watch it.
That's awesome.
I'm really happy because that dude almost died. I don't know if he was saving like his nephew or something because it's one of those tractors that you see like not necessarily like a snowmobile like or a snow plow that you see like on a normal street. This one has like those tracks. I can't even explain it. It's like something you see up in like the North Pole or something.
That's amazing.
And
yeah, it says
he got tore up.
He got ripped up. I just tweeted. I just went on Twitter to look it up. Jeremy Renner will give his first interview since the snowplow accident with Diane Sawyer, titled "A Story of Terror, Survival, and Triumph." This will be on April 7th on Disney Plus. That's amazing. Man.
That's one guy I would love to have on a channel.
Oh,
and
wow.
I don't even want to talk Marvel guys. I want to talk 49ers.
He's wow.
That's awesome. They could have cleaned up that treadmill though before they put him on the video. It had like a bunch of smudge marks on the sides. I have OCD, so I always notice stupid stuff. Must be the Italian in me. I'm like, hey, it's a dirty treadmill. Like, what's going on
dirty
here?
That's funny, man.
My mother just on the same thing. Like, look at that. There's handprints all over it.
He tried to save his nephew. You're right. So they says Jeremy Renner has zero regrets about nearly dying in plowing accident to save his nephew.
I wouldn't either.
He'd do it again in a heartbreak, he says.
Oh yeah, dude. I'd take a bullet for my nieces.
He's an American hero.
I'd definitely let my life. Fan. Yes. He's a 49er fan. Big time 49er fan too. Let's talk some of the meetings that happened down in the real nice weather area. What is it in Tampa? The meetings, right?
Arizona,
because I know what I'm talking about. No review on roughing the passer penalties. Really?
Stupid.
Why, out of all things you didn't pass,
why not?
Why? So many games are affected by bad roughing the passer penalties.
They didn't pass roughing the passer, but they're going to pass wearing the 0 jersey. Like, for real? Who fucking cares?
Nobody cares about wearing a 0 jersey.
I know.
Literally nobody cares. You know what it is? Because it'll sell jerseys.
You'll sell jerseys.
That's
you can't sell a roughing the passer.
Like the Joker says in The Dark Knight, all you care about is money. Absolutely. That's all you freaking rich-ass owners care about. It's not about money. It's about sending a message. Everything burns.
To them, it's about the money. Because guess what? You can't sell roughing the passer. You can sell a jersey with the 0 on it. It's absolutely atrocious.
Guys like meetings in Tampa.
And then he laughed. I'm sure they had some meetings in Tampa.
Come on, Ty, I'm an old man.
Not that
my geriatric is kicking in today. And then there was the extra Thursday night game that nobody wants. Again,
oh my!
It's all about that paper, man. That league, they're dirty, man. The NFL is dirty, man. I love football, but that is one dirty freaking. They don't care about their players, man.
They don't, man.
All this talk about player safety, they don't care.
No, they absolutely don't. It's crazy. Did you hear what this is what Robert Griffin tweeted last night, and then George Kittle he basically says who voted for this extra Thursday night football game, and he tagged NFL and NFLPA. He's like, it wasn't me. He was like,
Commissioner probably did it all by himself. I'm
yeah,
gonna vote for this.
Kittle was heated. He was like, what the hell? He
Give us another bye week for crying out loud.
And so this is what Robert Griffin said last night. He says, look, the NFL is now allowing teams to have 2 Thursday night football games per year. A league that continuously says it's all about improving player safety continues to put the health of its players at risk. Play 1 game with only 3 days rest isn't smart. Playing 2 is ridiculous. I agree with them, man. It's silly to me. Those Thursday night games are always just painful.
I hate when the Niners play them because they usually play really good, but they usually lose somebody for the year or for like 10 weeks or something every single time. Remember the one we had against Arizona? We were 8-0 or 9-0 or 8-0. Kittle got his leg almost broken.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, dude. I was like so pissed off, and then like,
Yeah, it's just you just can't get your body right in 3. There's too short of a turnaround. I mean, like Kittle said, you're in a car wreck every Sunday and you need a few days to recover. Like you just need, and then practice. Like you can't really prepare. Your body's just not, you're not in shape to play a game in 3 days. It's not good. Yeah, I agree, Randy. They're signing this.
David McNiner says the Thursday night games are 90% trash. Yeah, they're usually pretty bad. Because you don't want to give your all because you just played on Sunday.
Yeah.
One other thing. Looks like the Niners are. Oh, I can't believe they're doing this. I hate the football gods sometimes. Looks like the Niners are working on doing some Raider scrimmages.
Oh man.
That means we have to see Jimmy Garoppolo again in the preseason or training camp. Why, dude? Why?
Of course, they can't quit him. They can't quit him.
Kittle's probably going to have a T-shirt underneath his jersey that says Jimmy something.
Yeah,
gone but not forgotten or something.
Yeah, it's going to be a Jimmy love fest. It's going to be weird. They can't quit him. Yeah, they're going to have Jimmy there talking with Trey, and George Kittle's going to embrace him. I already can smell the content. I can already see it. It's going to be Jimmy G back with the knot. Oh, he's hugging John Lynch, and I could already see it. It's going to be a week-long fest of Jimmy G posts.
My guy, Silverado Kev, I haven't seen him in a while. He says, okay, done packing for this flight tomorrow. Figured I'd tap in with you in my garage, brother. Hey, Ron, I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, big Silverado Kev, man.
That's one of my favorite people ever on YouTube in general.
He's cool, dude. I remember when he first started, back in the day. He's one of the OGs, man. He is one of the
OGs. And that channel, Real Talk Niner Talk, dude, that they bottom. I can't say they started from the bottom. They're 100% grassroots, man.
Yeah.
100%. They have come on. Bashar says, here comes the Jimmy backlash for me talking about him. Whatever, dude. I get backlash for existing on YouTube. So anything else you want to talk about? Or I think we pretty much nailed it. I think we
nailed it, my boy. I think we cut it. I mean, honestly, that's it. I think that's a week. That's pretty much everything that happened within the last time we talked.
Yep.
Yeah.
We talked about Zane Gonzalez being a kicker, not the kicker.
Not the kicker.
We kind of touched on the fact that because one of the questions I had, or one of the topics was, are John Lynch and Kyle on the same page? And we kind of hit that one too.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like they're weird sometimes because Kyle's so real.
Yeah.
And John is so corporate America, like
he's selling. He's the GM. Yeah, he's the GM. He's gonna sell you.
I feel like if they were to win a Super Bowl, he's out.
I do too. I think his goal is to win Super Bowl, and he's out, and he's cashing that Amazon check or whoever.
Yeah, he'll be rich, and he could spend the rest of his life with his pretty wife.
And I think it's okay because they got Adam Peters waiting in the wings, and I think that's okay. He can come in, and he doesn't want to take that spot right now.
Yo, they hit 8K. Yo, you guys got more.
Oh, let's go.
Yo, he's like, appreciate y'all. Yeah, we started from the bottom. We hit 8K this morning. Look at God. Thanks again for all your support. That's awesome, dude.
That's dope, man.
I'm on the verge of 6K. What the hell? I don't understand why it doesn't help with live views, though. Where are you people? Come on. Stop watching my shorts and come watch the lives. That's all I got to say.
It's the algorithm, man. It's because it's just the way it's a whole.
It's been so weird this offseason. It's gone like this.
Yeah. Dude,
during the playoffs, I think one stream we had like 100 people in. I mean, you were in it. Dude, I was like, ooh, I can get used to this. Nope.
And during the football season, everybody's popping.
Yeah, because you can't get enough, especially when the Niners are doing good. See, I always think, and I know Bashar thinks the same thing, content's better when the Niners are bad, because then Bashar goes in.
Oh,
he gets pissed. And a lot of people like that. John V. I'm a negative person already, so I'd rather have the Niners win because that's kind of all I got. So
I hate when they lose because it just makes me feel like
that they're going to keep losing and then they're never going to be good again.
I like the wins. I like the nights after the wins. You're in a good mood. You can actually post some content. Otherwise, it's just I don't know. I like it. I like when they win.
We are humbled, and it is a grind. People say it shouldn't be a grind if it's what you love. It's still a grind. Don't let nothing stop you. When we started, it was the three of us, me, Don, and Panama in the chat. That's awesome. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate the love. It's awesome. Every time I think I want to go and leave YouTube, I always have enough reasons to not.
You got to stay, man. It's tough. It's a grind, man. Like, I've even thought about ending YouTube, but, I can't, man. I just got to keep building. It's
weird. It's like an addiction. Like, I'm going to not do it. And then I see one of you guys on, and I'm like, I want to go talk online and have people comment.
It's weird, fun, man. But YouTube's YouTube's different.
I thought I figured out the algorithms, but apparently I didn't. So I'll try again.
Before we go today, right before you hopped in, I checked my emails and said you got a copyright claim. It's a copyright claim from like 9 months ago. I was like on a news update that I posted about Mitch Wishnowsky, because the background music I used was like copyright. I guess it was like music that someone's claiming, and it wasn't even like a regular song. It was like one of those YouTube songs that they allow you to use. So now YouTube's saying that I use copy. I'm like, come on, man, y'all don't make any sense. So now I got to delete that. It's like a post from like 9 months ago when they re-signed Mitch Wishnowsky.
Yeah, I learned that, and that because I don't know if you guys have seen the 49er hype video, but it has copyrighted music because I already knew I was going to get hit. And the way it's made so it looks like you're looking through a camcorder. That was done so I didn't get hit on the video as well. So I appreciate, again, Roscoe's is the man. So you guys like the overlay? I got a couple of them. I'll show you the other one real quick. This is our red overlay.
Ooh,
I kind of dig the dark one more.
Yeah.
It's more ominous.
It looks good.
But this one ain't bad as well. But what you guys think? Let me know. Me and Raj we're gonna get out of here. Appreciate those of you who actually stopped in and chatted. I appreciate it. And hopefully we got some news to talk about, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Peace out, everyone.